Greetings, Uncut family. Grab your wine, your vapes, or whatever you need to relax so we can get into this Queen chat. I'm Monique Lovelace. Queens, introduce yourselves.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Kiki Boom Boom.
What's up, y'all? It's TK Trinidad.
And today we are talking about gender roles. Like, I had so many conversations about so many things during this 9-week period that we were off. And lately, when I've been talking to guys, it's been one of those things where we talk about gender roles. Like, we start getting into gender roles. Do y'all feel like gender roles are starting to flip? Do y'all have these conversations with guys when y'all like are dating them or whatever? Like, an expectation from a man should be, or an expectation from a woman should be, and is this like flipping?
I know for me, I don't really have like those type of conversations per se. I think like when I'm dating guys, it's really like my actions and how the guys respond. So I know for me, I've dated guys who've taken care of everything, bills and stuff like that. But because I'm independent and that's the way I was raised, and I was raised by all women, I'm naturally just used to doing everything by myself. So I naturally will, because I don't like to, I hate depending on people. That's one thing about me. Man or woman, I don't care who you are. So naturally, if I'm out, I will go to my bag and get my card because I never want to depend on anyone. And it's normally the action of the man that's like, girl, are you crazy? What are you doing? I would never have you pay for anything. And then I'm like, oh, okay, at least that's how I know that's how he gets down. So that's one of those things where like, lately I've been dating and I'll date guys and we'll go out and the guy will pay for everything. And then I'll say like, oh, I don't mind paying. And they're like, no. That's how I normally find out. So I don't really have like those conversations like, I'm a woman, you're a man, you need to do X, Y, and Z. I need to do X, Y, and Z. I just think it's one of those things where it's like, we bring what we can to the table and then we figure out who we are as people, I guess. That's just me though.
What y'all think about first dates though? Who's supposed to pay on first dates? Let's start with TK because I feel like she got something to say.
I'm gonna probably shout out Spicy this whole season. Spicy, like, because I had that same type of approach, Kiki, where it's like, I never go out. I never go out unless I have the money to cover it. And I would always do like that pump fake. After going through Spicy's course, I don't do that. And also, I haven't met those men who like, oh no, like we're going Dutch. Like it's not even a thing anymore. And then what, like the caveat was like Spicy told me how like, cause she has her own business, all this stuff, but then her husband also like gives her like an allowance on top of that. I was like, that's the goal right there. Like I'm also I'm also independent as well, but it's nice to know that you're covered. You know what I'm saying? And I don't have problems in a relationship where it's like I'll cover something or whatever. But in the beginnings, like when we're establishing stuff, I don't do that. I don't do that anymore. And
I don't think for me, it's not a punk thing. It's just a natural thing. Even when I'm out with when I'm out with women, because I know that's not an appropriate word to use. When I'm out with my friends, it's just a natural reaction. I think that I've just been blessed to have gone on dates with guys where they're like, that's weird. Don't ever do that again. And I'm like, shit, it's the natural. I don't think like, I'm not like, let me see if you'll answer. No, it's a natural thing that I do. I even do it with my family. But I have been blessed to come across guys that's like, girl, don't ever do that ever again. And I'm like, okay, thanks.
I feel I definitely have to agree with TK on this one. I don't necessarily like pump fake. I think whoever asks who out should pay. And normally I'm not asking somebody out. Like I will wait to see if you ask me out, especially on the first date. I will talk to guys. I will approach you. That's one thing too, that I feel like women, when it comes to gender roles, they always, even now, like they'll be like, oh no, like I'm not approaching no man. I had like when I went to Dubai, there was this girl that I know, and she was just like, I would never approach a man. And I'm like, no, that's not the
you ain't
case.
Gonna be talking
like,
to nobody.
You can literally walk up to somebody and say, hey, and let them know that you're interested. Give them the open. But will he take the lead is the next question. So if he takes the lead, he's going to ask me out. Hey, when are we linking up? Yeah, okay. Because I'm giving you that opening. But all in all, I feel like, because I saw this too on Facebook, it was like, whoever asks who out should pay. And I agree. If you are a feminist, because I'm woman empowerment, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a feminist. I'm a woman empowerment. I mean, as Black women, we have a little different thing anyway. We've always been in the feminist category because we've had to always work. We've always had to have, you know, equal rights between us in the household due to certain situations. But I'm more of like women empowerment. Yes, I'm independent. I'm woohoo all day. I may give you like a little gift to show my thanks or whatever. But at the end of the day, like I've gotten to the point where I'm not opening, I'm not pump faking, I look at the bill, I be like, oh, okay. Or
I think for heterosexual people, men should pay on first dates. Unless I ask you out.
Because the waiters tend to give the men the checks anyway. Like if you go to certain restaurants,
they give it to the men as they should.
They always give it to the men. There's certain restaurants like it's like I think it's like price wise. It's just like they give it to the men automatically. But I don't know. Well, this is like after a couple of dates, but a couple of dates in, I'll suggest places, but I still don't pay.
Right.
So I don't know.
I think it's
I'm enjoying it.
I think it's, for me who's been independent my whole life, I want to be spoiled. And I think it's a great thing. Like, I don't find anything wrong with women who say that they want everything paid for. Like, fuck that shit. Why not? Especially if there's a man who wants to do it. Again, this is for heterosexual people, like people who date, for men and women who date each other. I think it's an amazing thing to be spoiled. And I know for me, someone who's been like independent, whatever, and currently dating, and I've been going on dates with someone who I don't even have to look at my bag. I did it once and he was very offended. And now I don't even.
Because I look at it like this.
No eye contact, but you're paying for the date.
I've come to a point, and I was having a conversation with somebody, this guy, and I look at it like this. In society, as Black women, we're always called the strong Black woman. We're always independent. We're always expected to be that. I'm tired of that shit. No, I'm not always strong.
Hello.
Like, I am independent, but sometimes I want to be able to rely on you, babe.
I want to be taken care of.
I want to be taken. That shit is sexy. That shit is, I don't care what no man says. And this is, like you said, it's for heterosexual like relationships. I will say that it's sexy as fuck when a man takes care of you. Like, if he takes care of you, you willingly want to do shit for him. You willingly want to be like, oh, babe, no, like, even if you ain't gonna let me pay this check, let me be dessert tonight. Let me show you what's going down. Let me like give you a little gift. I thought about you, so I got you a little something. Oh, babe, I saw you wanted that watch, so your girl pulled up. You know what I'm saying? If he's taking care of stuff, please believe, nigga, you are going to be taken care of. You're going to want to take care of him. You're going to want to show that you appreciate what he's doing. Now, what's happening is that they're not picking the right women who want to do that.
That part.
And so when you get scarred by little girls and not women, you don't know what to expect from real women. So I do feel like with when it comes to like first dates and stuff like that, I am still gender role friendly, and I think that he should pay because it's most likely that he asked me out. And I
agree with what both of you are saying.
Y'all know
I've been one way. I agree.
Y'all know me. People will say I'm mean or foul or whatever, because they'll be like, oh, well, what would you do? Like, you should have your own money. I will act like I did not bring card or money. Call me an Uber or get in my car and walk away from that table and let that man figure it out and never talk.
Because you know what I noticed too, because I feel like every woman, right, doesn't matter what race they are, they have standards. And I feel like as soon as a Black woman says their standards and say like, I'm not reaching for my bag, I'm not doing the pump thing, I feel like people come down on Black women. And it's like, if that's what we are in life, and if I'm making money and if I have a business, I should be able to expect that from this guy or whoever I'm dating.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I say I agree with both. I agree with what both of you guys are saying.
But it also has to do with, I think that there's the society and, insecurities, and because, when it does come to dating, we're last on the ones to be picked by a lot of folks, according to the dating apps and stuff like that.
In LA,
well,
And everywhere.
The one study
no,
I saw,
because you go
everywhere.
down south, Kiki. You go down south.
Yes. Are we
You will
more
not be the
loved?
last.
Well, I mean, it's just
Are we more loved in
apps,
certain places? Sorry, TK.
Yeah. According to the apps across all races, we're
the
last. According to the apps,
we are the last. Yes, men down south will be like, "Oh, she got a big booty," don't want to talk to us, but we are the last. According to studies,
yes, us and Asian men.
Yes.
So I think, just through society, and also having that moniker of being like independent women, and, seeing our mothers and our grandmothers do all these things, there's like stuff that we have to deal with internally. And I think sometimes because we haven't dealt with it internally, we project it. And then a man feels like he doesn't have to pay because you're this independent woman. He kind of feels like he can get away with these certain things. But I think once you kind of get your mindset as far as what you want to do, and it doesn't have to be like, he has to pay, it could just be whatever you want to do. And once you're kind of centered in that, then the right man will feed off that energy. Because I've never had a situation since like dealing with Spicy where it's just like, well, I don't know what's gonna happen. Like it hasn't been like, since I'm set in what I want and how I want it to look within myself, I haven't had those situations. So I feel like, and men have to deal with it too, like, like being raised by single parents and all this stuff, and just societal issues, being Black men in the society. So I think we as a culture, like, we're dealing with so much PTSD that we need to kind of sift through all of that in order to come together.
I agree.
I definitely agree. I was talking to this guy, and we had this conversation, and he was just saying to me, he was like, and I think people look at us like this, and we had to talk about it, because he was like, I love Black women. Like, I only date Black women. And he was like, I've had a white girl before, like my baby's mother is a white girl. And he was just like, but I love Black women. I date Black women. He was like, but there's one thing I will say. He was like, y'all, when Black women date, y'all's expectations are like, you have to earn, or you have to show me what you can provide for me. And then a few months down the line, I'll open up, but you've already invested so much. And he was like, it seems like other ethnicities, he said, it seemed like other ethnicities tend to want to get to know you. Like, there's no expectations on like the first dates or this or whatever. And that they're really in the beginning seeming like they want to get to know you. And I asked him, I was like, that's for Asian women too, because from what I know,
and white women, listen, there's a whole thing, please. I hate when men do that, because I'm like, it's like you guys only hear when Black women do it or say it. You don't hear any other woman do it. And there are women of different races who say, this is what I want, this is what I'm looking for in a man. And maybe they'll say it in a different way, but they have the same expectations. I just think when it comes to Black women, people feel the need to humble us for some reason.
Yeah.
People feel the need to call us gold diggers when every other race does the same thing that we do. And it's a little annoying. And I think that's just what they want to hear when it comes to Black women.
I don't know. I mean, to me, I thought that was a little, but I can see the difference. Like TK said, we come from a PTSD background, so we're going to move differently either way.
Right.
And I think that, because it's put out there on social media, it's like that. Because, like, listen, it hit me one time because I really liked this white lady, and she was like a consultant or like a coach or whatever. And I liked her product, but I was like, well, let me see if I can find it in a Black platform. And so when I did that, it hit me. I realized that when I looked at her social media, it was giving off different than when I looked at the Black girl social media. And I was like, I could see the turn off from this. So it kind of shifted my perspective of how we look at things. Like, of course, most Black people are going to go with this Black girl because that's what they're looking for. They're like, oh, okay, she's putting her houses up, she's putting her cars up, she's showing all this shit. You know, this is proof that she's getting it. But the white lady, she didn't show none of that. She just put up very inspirational stuff. She was very empowering. Not saying that we're not saying that at all. But I feel like this goes into intertwining everything for us, especially when it comes to dating and being different, like expecting things differently when it comes to gender roles.
Yeah.
Because we just kind of look at life a little differently due to the fact that we most of the time we're coming from struggle.
Yeah. And
like,
with that struggle too, also is vulnerability. Like that was a huge thing to learn to talk about with somebody and also be open. Like I didn't realize, like, I'm presenting this and this is what I want, but in order for a guy to really open up, and I've heard this like before, it's like, I know you, but I don't really know you. And it's like, actually opening up and realizing what the reasons behind you not being vulnerable in order for you to be vulnerable. And once that kind of clicked for me, it was so much easier for like when I meet guys to like tell them certain things, and then they're way more receptive opposed to me saying, well, this is what I want and this is how I want it, opposed to me just saying, look, this is who I am, I'm flawed, and this is what I'm working through, this is what I'm dealing with, this is what I'm vulnerable about, and being open that way. It's like the gifts are in more abundance when I came that way. And I think I think again, because we deal in the society where we often do get rejected. People try to humble us. We try to, like, there's so many things that we have to go through that we kind of seal that part of us. That's like, nah, you're gonna have to work for that. And it's like, if you kind of offer it to somebody deserving, then they're going to see that and they're going to want to do all these things for you. But it was like eye opening. Like I said, Spicy was a game changer for me. So I would definitely recommend her.
What y'all think about? Okay, so what do y'all think about the women proposing to their man?
Good for them.
I love that journey for them.
Now that Kai Pinky was shady.
Listen, here's my thing. Nakia Richardson, I would never do that. But for the women who do that, kudos to you. I don't see, because I tweeted, right? Because I'm on this thing where I tweeted and I was like, people are so fucking miserable. So I don't want to be that person that's like, oh, I would never do that. So blah, blah, blah. So I'll just say me, I don't see the need of me ever doing that and proposing to a man. That's not what I would want to do. To the women who do it, I think it's great for them if they feel the need to do that, because I'm starting to see a lot more videos of women proposing. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to figure out why they're doing that. And I know, like, sometimes and I don't want to like bash those women, because I'm like, are they doing it to like keep this man, a man who they feel like they wanted to get proposed to? Right. Because I never want to do that whole gender thing when it comes to proposing, because I don't know what's going through their minds. I just know for me, that is not for me. I will never propose to a man. But
did you see that video?
Talk to a woman. If we have anyone listening who has ever proposed to a man, I would love to know why.
Did you see that video where the woman proposed to the man and he like straight up sidestepped her and then picked up her friend and then walked out? Yeah. Like,
you would die. That's what I'm saying. See, he would have to die. They would have to go. But yeah, not why, but I would just love to know, like, and I guess it's maybe like women who ask men out, women who are not afraid to approach. I don't know. I just know for me, I'm not proposing to no man.
I think that's gonna become more. It's not generational, because I don't think this has happened before, but I think the generation after us, the more sexually fluid, all this other stuff. I think it's gonna be. I've said that for years, where my daughter's gonna like ask somebody to the prom and it's not gonna be an issue, and I'm gonna look at her like she's beyond crazy. So
but I think that's cool. I guess maybe it's a double standard, because I think it's cool when girls can ask somebody out to the prom or ask a guy out on a date But then when it comes to proposing, I'm like, oh, God. So
Yeah,
I'm maybe that's me.
I
I
don't
don't
think
know.
it's cool, but I just also am leading with an open mind. Like, y'all,
Yeah.
do you if you're happy, I can be. It's not like one of those things where your parents are like, well, this is how we did it, and this is like
Right.
just
Because I feel like with
all
prom,
right.
that we're kids, right? Like I feel like we shouldn't give. This is me. I feel like when it comes to kids, they shouldn't have the expectation that adults have. So I think it's cool for heterosexual girls or guys to ask people out, and whoever. Like if you're a girl, and you want to ask a guy, do you want to go to the prom? Because there's guys who are shy too, especially in school. Now, proposing is just so different. To take a ring out and get on a knee and say, "Will you marry me?" I don't
Have
know.
y'all seen anybody besides Black women do it? Because I feel like I haven't seen pictures of like any other race doing it. Maybe I should look that up and see.
Yeah, because it's also the algorithms and
That's
I
true.
think
That's why I'm asking.
yeah, I
Because
haven't
you're right.
seen
I've
it.
seen a lot of Black women, but I think it's who we're following and what we're seeing. Because
Mhm.
it could be other women in different countries and other races who do it.
But also
But
too, we're not getting the percentage of us getting married compared to is
right.
lower than other folks. So there might be, but we're not necessarily
That is true,
seeing that.
TK.
Yeah. So we're
Damn, you
not
know
we're not
what?
getting
Looking at
I didn't think about that. That is
yeah,
actually
our
true.
percentage of actually getting married. Loving relationships is a different percentage, but the percentage of actually getting married is low. And then
Maybe that's
the
why we're
divorce rate
is
is
a
proposing.
high.
lot lower.
Yeah. And the divorce rate is higher. So
Um,
yeah.
yeah,
Listen, shout out to those who are doing that.
Yeah. Be happy.
I let me tell you, I Monique Loveless probably wouldn't do it because I have a tendency to know that majority of the time women are a little more ready than men. And if you propose to me, I know that you're ready.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to force you to feel ready. Like I want you to know that it's open and I'm gonna let you do it in your time because we're more prone to already want to be married. Like most women already have their wedding gowns or their, you know, even though we're not really taught how to have a marriage, we're more taught how to have a wedding. But I feel like because most women are already prone to be ready to get married, that me asking you, I feel like feels forceful. It
Yeah.
feels like you weren't ready and I just need you, even though we might have talked about it. We might have, I think men have to kind of like get there because they're taught to like provide, secure, whatever. I feel like they have to get there and then it feels more like you're ready for that type of commitment if you propose to me and I'm not trying to be like, we talked about it and we said we were going to do it, here will you marry me, unless that's something he expressed, like, babe, I think
I was
it'd
gonna
be
say
so
because
sexy if you propose to me, like then that would be different.
okay, the actress Jodie, I forgot her last name, who's married to Josh Jackson, Pacey from Dawson's Creek,
Yes.
finest man on the planet. He talked about in the interview, they have a daughter together. And and he loves her, but he talks about how she was the one that was like, let's get married. Like that's how she proposed. And he was like, oh, hell yeah. And he thought it was super sexy. So I was like, okay, that's cool. Cause I think they had the conversation like, she was like, let's just get married. And she
Right.
proposed the idea. And people were upset at him for saying that. And then Jodie was like, why are y'all upset? Like that's literally, she's like, that's my man. I proposed to him and
I mean, that's
together. And I was like, I think
when
that's hot.
when I was proposed to on 2 different occasions, that's how it was. It was just kind of like, let's go get married. And I was like,
Yeah.
out of here. No.
And she was the
I
person
don't
who
mind
proposed
that.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
it was
mind
like
that.
it was like that. And he said that he thought it was the sexiest thing. He always wanted to get married to her, but she kind of brought it up first. So like in that instance, like I understand. I think it's like a shock when I do see women get down
On
on
the
their knees
one
and propose to
knee,
a man.
and
I'm
yeah,
like,
it's a bit
what
much.
the hell? Get up!
Get your ass up. You're going okay. So side note, Josh, you're probably gonna have to like redo this because for some reason we have like 8 minutes left. So we'll probably have to jump back on with a different link or something. Who knows? I don't know when they started, but whatever. So I just feel like, I don't know. I personally wouldn't do it unless my man was like, yo, it would be so sexy to me if you proposed to me. And I'd be like, okay. But I would still have to get up some confidence to do that because you're just not, you're just like, oh, are you sure that's sexy? But I feel that way. What y'all think about if you make more than your man? I also saw this. So this lady got married. She got married to her man, and she's a surgeon, and he's like a general store manager. She makes like almost 500,000 a year, and he makes like 60 a year. And that was a conversation too, where people were just like, well, it'll never be like, he'll never respect her. He'll never like really love her. He's just using her for her money. But couldn't we say that same thing if a woman?
Yawn. I think it depends on the person. Like, I feel like if you have a guy who's comfortable in who he is and secure, and you guys have an amazing relationship, who cares if the woman makes more money than the man or the man makes more money than the woman? As long as that's what you guys are okay with and y'all had that conversation, I wouldn't mind if I made more money than my man. As long as he's working, shit. I'd rather you be working and not working, and then I'm taking care of you.
Right.
You gotta work. And I think, again, if you have a guy who's secure and not insecure, then it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, and y'all have that conversation. I just think that's all insecurity. I think it's all insecurities, but you have to communicate in relationships. And I think that's what a lot of people don't do. They become insecure. But if you have a mate that's like, they go to work and I go to work and we figure out how the bills are being taken care of, what's the problem?
Yeah, I think.
And as long as you're not hating on me because I make more money than you, because if you start hating on me, you gotta go.
Yeah, hating or tearing me down.
We're not doing insecure men.
Yeah.
You can be my boo and you can be a stay-at-home boo too if you want and cook for me. It's okay.
A stay-at-home dad. Would y'all take care of a stay-at-home dad?
If Jill Scott said it best.
TK said no.
Because at the end of the day, for me, even if he said, look, I want you to stay at home and like, be with the kids, like the hustle on me will find a side hustle to do just because I don't know life without that. So it's like, all right, cool, I'll stay at home. I'm going to find a little side business that's not necessarily going to take away, but and so if he's just, obviously taking care of the kids is not chilling, but if he's just taking care of the kids and he's not figuring out a way how to, build on the empire, then right. I'm not like, and that's like you said, Kiki, you were talking about communication. A lot of people don't talk about money, especially in Black families. So it's like you get married, you don't even realize. Like I remember I went out with one guy. He told me his credit score like off the bat. He's like, I got this. I'm like, oh, okay. So it's like having those conversations, but also having the game plan. Like if he's a store manager, does he want to stay the store manager? Like those are the conversations. Not necessarily is the goal to get to 100,000 or 500,000, but what's the game plan? Like, do you want to stay? Like, are you comfortable being a store manager for the rest of your life? And then, am I okay with that? Because I prefer somebody who has some type of like goal. It's like, okay, you're store manager, but do you want to eventually like do corporate? Do you want to be like a VP? Like, what's the game plan? Or do you just want to stay here? Like that stuff kind of bothers me. Like staying in that one position, like a 9 to 5. Like for me, like it just. Like I can't wrap my head around it. So it's like, so you're gonna like be in the same position for 20 years? Like that's what we doing? Like I can't, that doesn't work for me.
I say if he wants to be a stay-at-home dad, like that would be something we would have to communicate about and see how that works out. Because he may be a hustler, but I may have something good going on. And I'm just like, listen, this is what it is. You might have lost your job. You can stay at home with the kids. We don't have to pay for daycare. We don't have to pay for all types of other stuff you have to pay for. So as a mother, I think that's a big deal for mothers because my sissy is a stay-at-home mom. So I think that's a job. Like that's a full-time job.
Ooh, it's a full-time job.
Yeah. So if I'm racking it in and you are like, you know what? Like I do want to do stuff. But I would like to be a stay-at-home dad. Like I want to be here with my kids. I actually commend that. I'm like, damn.
I do too. I wouldn't mind marrying a stay-at-home dad who wants to cook, clean, do everything they got to do at home. And I come home and I'm like, babe, thank you so much. Appreciate you. I got dinner and you got the kids. And especially if I'm making the amount of money where I can take care of the household. And I know that you, either you have a side hustle like TK said, and you're doing something at home while the kids are at school. Maybe you do have like a little 9 to 5, or you're doing something. And I know, and I'm okay with that. But I just want to be with a guy who's not insecure and making more money than him, and vice versa. If I'm with a man who makes more money, I don't want to be hating like, oh, he made it. No, like it's okay. Now, I would like to be taken care of, but I also wouldn't mind if I'm making my jabillions and then I do have kids and he wants to be my Stedman. That's okay.
The Stedman, honey. Yeah.
Doing what he got to do too.
You at home cooking and cleaning.
Oh my God.
Taking care of the baby.
You walk the dog, you take out the trash, you cook, you clean, you take the kids. I just come home, put my feet up, you rub my feet. Like that is just ideal.
Right.
And then, I give you a little break on the weekend. Little break. A little bit.
It sounds kind of good. Right, because I'm not the biggest cook, and cleaning is like I'll get to it on the weekend. But
and then you take care of me in other ways. You know what I'm saying? But again, I think it really depends on the couples. And like TK said, and we all said, it's all about communicating and what works for each couple. I just think we all have to communicate when we're in relationships and talk about finances and careers and the future and what you want your future to look like.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. I just feel like at this point, do gender roles really matter, or is it just about communication? Because I'm a communication girl.
Communication. I think it's communication.
Because it's what society told us. Like there, in certain societies, women take care of everything, and in certain societies, men have 5 wives, but they can take care of all of them. So it's what the society tells us, but it's also kind of what works for you and what you're comfortable with, and kind of looking into why you're comfortable with that. So I definitely think it's going to change. Like what we're used to is not what the next generation is going to be doing, and
no,
it's going to be so different.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. It's different now. It's changing now.
I was about to say, even for millennials, like we, it's different. Like we still were kind of like on societal like ways, but a lot of millennials were just like, I'm going to do what the fuck I want to do, and you're not going to tell me. And I think, like you said, TK, like the next generation is just going to be like, I'm going to propose to my man. I'm the woman of this household. I make the rules. Like, I think things are going to change.
Right.
And then it's different in a same-sex marriage too. You know what I'm saying? So I think things will look different going forward.
All right, ladies, since that ends us, let our audience know where they can find you.
If you would like to be a stay-at-home dad, feel free to slide into my DMs at Kiki Boom Boom.
Make sure you cook and clean.
You have to cook and clean
and smell like onion rings.
Have money, because I don't have the money yet, so you have to have them. No, I'm kidding. Find me on all social media at Kiki Boom Boom.
And you can find me on everything at TK Trinidad. Yeah, don't stay at home dads here. Don't slide in DMs.
I feel that, TK. I do feel that.
You can find me on everything at TK Trinidad.
Oh my gosh, I'm okay with let me think about it first before you hit my DM. Let's discuss it. Okay. But I am open for applications now. Y'all know I wasn't dating, but now, I'm open. I'm just open. I'm having a good time. So if you are not an asshole, yes, definitely hit my DMs at Hey Mo Love on all social media platforms. And you can also do your background check already at moneygloveless.com, because I know I do. So, get ready. But that wraps up our episode. Thank you for tuning in on our gender role episode. Of course, we're going to talk about this much more during season 4 of Black Queens Uncut. Thank you for tuning in. Bye.
Bye.